வீரகேசரி நேயர்கள் அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். நாம் மற்றும் ஒரு நேர்காணலில் உங்களை சந்திக்கின்றோம். இன்று ஒரு முக்கியமான வித்தியாசமான ஒரு பிரமுகரை நாங்கள் எமது கலையகத்தில் சந்திக்கின்றோம். உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், அரசியல் எவ்வளவு முக்கியமோ அதே போன்று இலங்கையில் பொருளாதாரமும் முக்கியமானது. அதே போன்று இலங்கை இந்திய பொருளாதாரமும் மிக முக்கியமானது. இந்தியா இன்று மிக பெரிய அளவில் வளர்ச்சி அடைந்து வருகிறது. அந்த இந்திய வளர்ச்சியில் இலங்கை எப்படி பயனடைய முடியும் என்பது முக்கியம். அந்த வகையில் இலங்கை இந்திய வர்த்தக சங்கத்தின் தலைவர் மதிப்புக்குரிய சந்தோஷ் மேனன் அவர்களை நாங்கள் இன்று சந்திக்கின்றோம். அவரிடம் பல கேள்விகளை நாங்கள் கேட்பதற்கு எதிர்பார்க்கின்றோம். இந்த இந்திய இலங்கை மற்றும் வெளிநாட்டு நேரடி முதலீடுகள், FDI என்று கூறப்படுகின்ற வெளிநாட்டு முதலீடுகள் உள்ளிட்ட பல்வேறு விடயங்கள் தொடர்பாக நாங்கள் அவருடன் பேச முடியும். வணக்கம் சந்தோஷ்.
Vanakkam Robertson, and vanakkam to all your viewers.
First of all, could you elaborate what is this organization you are representing, Lanka India Business Associations? What is that?
So LIBA, which is Lanka India Business Association, we started the association with the intent of fostering closer business interactions between Sri Lankan businesses and Indian businesses. The reason we started this is primarily because I have been in Sri Lanka for 20 years.
Okay.
And while India seems to be a growing economy and doing extremely well in terms of economic growth, not enough Sri Lankans have still gone to India to set up businesses.
Okay.
And when I talk to...
The vice versa is happening.
Vice versa also not as much as it should.
No, not potential.
Yes. I mean, I'll later on in my conversation with you, I'll share you some statistics and the kind of investments Indians are making around the world, and only a fraction of it comes to Sri Lanka. But the thing is, when I speak to Sri Lankan friends who are businessmen, I find the reasons they gave is that, with India, we don't know where to start. Such a big country. It's a black box. We feel that as Sri Lankans, we can't do well in India. Will we be cheated? Are Indians far more aggressive than we are, and therefore will we fail? So I realized that there is a need for an association which can help Sri Lankans navigate the Indian economic landscape. Which means our role really is to handhold Sri Lankan businesses and facilitate their entry into India in a very practical way. So I have an advisory team sitting in Mumbai. If you have a product or a service which you currently offer in Sri Lanka, and you are ambitious and you want to do the same in India, they will advise you which states need that service or product, what is the competitive setup there, what kind of investments would you need to do to set up something there, or can you just transfer your technology or your product offering and get a partner to run it. What is the legal framework under which all this can be done? So it's a very practical approach to taking Sri Lankan businesses and helping them to set up in India to exploit India's economic dividend.
So can I ask, you are trying to take our dollars from here?
No, I'm actually trying to get Sri Lankans to make more money from India. If your operation is here and this is where you are setting up, this is where your operation...
bring back dollars to country.
You can bring, because you will have to increase your capacities here, and the money comes back to Sri Lanka. Your operation is Sri Lankan.
But at the moment, Sri Lanka is expecting more FDI from other countries into Sri Lanka now. So what is your interest on that?
See, Indians have actually invested globally last year over $30 billion.
$30 billion. If we get 1 billion?
And actually, Sri Lanka has got less than $1 billion from Indian businessmen. So as far as I'm concerned, there is an opportunity to get Indians to come and invest in Sri Lanka and bring the much needed FDI into Sri Lanka as well. You have to find ways, and that this is another question that one needs to ask. Why is it that Indians have not been able to come here and do enough?
Because according to my reading, I think India is now fourth largest economy in the world, but it will surpass Germany very soon.
Correct.
We expect.
Correct.
Okay. So when the GDP is growing like that, 6% something like that, so they want to set up business outside India.
Correct.
Ultimately they want. So when that point comes, Sri Lanka needs to capture that. So
Correct.
what can we do for that?
So first of all, I think you have to make up your mind that India is a potential economic partner.
And also trusted friend.
Yes. So that you have to make up your mind. I think once the Sri Lankan people understand that just 400 miles or kilometers to your north is a country which is actually growing exponentially and has a booming economy. And there are so many countries around the world trying to get access to the Indian market. And you're just there in the neighborhood. And then you decide, okay, now time has come. We have to start connecting with India and exploiting its economic dividend.
So what is your overall assessment regarding the present India-Sri Lanka trade relations?
See, overall India-Sri Lanka relationship to my mind is at its best right now.
Trade.
But on a trade context, I think it is still highly underexploited. Underexploited.
Not used potential.
Not used. And I'll tell you why. Very often I get asked this question, right? That, oh, there was a free trade agreement between India and Sri Lanka, but the trade from India to Sri Lanka is so much more and trade from Sri Lanka to India is so much lesser.
Yeah, I can say 4 billion and 800 million.
Correct. But actually, those numbers, you got to look deeper into those numbers. Okay. Fact is, 2008, when this whole thing got operationalized, you had a trade between India and Sri Lanka, or rather Sri Lanka to India of 100 million. 120 million. Today it's 800 million. Now, look deeper. If you look at the FTA, if you look at the FTA, Sri Lanka is using 60% of the FTA list to take.
You are not using. India
is only using 5%. India is only using 5%. Sri Lanka is using 60%. That's not the only data.
Only 500 million within 4 billion.
Exactly. Why? What is this 4 billion? See, at the end of the day, when you don't manufacture many things in Sri Lanka, like medicines, fuel, many things which are required for the garment industry to export, you have to import these products at a competitive price for the country to move forward. When you make this competitive pricing arrangement, you realize that Indian products are the most competitive in terms of price advantage and quality. So you end up importing many things which are required on a day-to-day basis because you don't manufacture them here from India. So you end up with a big import bill from India, and then you say, hey, but our FTA arrangement is the deficit is unequal. In reality, that's not the case. In reality, if you take just the FTA, India is actually using less of the FTA compared to Sri Lanka. So it is more beneficial to Sri Lanka having the FTA.
So you are proposing to amend the
FTA? I think there is a conversation going on around ITCA. If you ask me, that is the first.
ITCA is extended version of the FTA, right?
Yeah. So to be honest, I'm not very clear in details about all of the elements that are there in ITCA.
Okay.
So I won't assume to be an expert on ITCA. However, I do know that ITCA is another form of strengthening the economic relationship.
And if it is signed, good.
It will be great because that is a sign that Sri Lanka is taking India's economic opportunity seriously. And I think if that happens, I would also imagine that the doors will be open for many more Sri Lankan products to go to India.
The important point is now India now it's having now 500 million middle upper class population, right?
Correct.
So what are the things we can export there? Because for apparel we do, India is also doing. Tea, both countries are doing. And also some other retail things they are doing, but we are not doing medicine and something like that, and some raw material for the. So what are the new things we can produce and reach that 500 million middle class upper class people? What do you think about that?
See, first you shouldn't forget tourism.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not about taking things to India. It is about getting Indians to come here and experience the product you have here.
Yeah.
In my mind, the Sri Lankan tourism product is a fantastic product.
Yeah. So we can.
And unfortunately, what's happening is there are 30 million Indians traveling around the world in a year. Only 400,000 is coming to Sri Lanka, or 500,000 is coming to Sri Lanka, and then we are happy because we say, oh, that's the single largest set of travelers coming from a country is India. But in reality, the potential is much larger than that. And out of the
Still, India is the first.
So the point is, even out of the remaining 25.6 million, actually 28.6 million, whatever that number is.
29 million.
29.6 million, whatever that number is. That number, there are many, many people with a lot of money. How do you target the traveler who has a lot of money to come into Sri Lanka and spend large amounts per night? I keep hearing in Sri Lanka, no, Indian traveler is a cheap traveler. And that actually we should attract the
They are not spending here.
They are not spending. That is because you are attracting the cheap traveler. In the way you promoted Sri Lanka, in the way Sri Lanka is looked at, it is seen as being a value for money destination. In reality, there are many opportunities for Indians to come here and experience something high quality. I mean, I could narrate many things. The sunken treasures of Colombo, going snorkeling, scuba diving there, whether it is the whale watching in Mirissa or whether it's in Trincomalee.
Bentota.
The Bentota beach life experience, the swimming elephants in Galloya. You have some wonderful premium experiences.
Sigiriya.
Yeah, and there are some wonderful experiences, which I think unfortunately is not promoted enough to the moneyed Indian traveler. So we need to, that is one part of it.
What Sri Lanka can do for that?
I think you need to do a targeted marketing communications exercise where you change the imagery of Sri Lanka from being a cheap destination to a luxury destination.
That should be done in India.
That should be done from Sri Lanka into India. It's an easy thing to do. I mean, it's not very difficult to do. But you need to be able to clearly say that we are targeting the moneyed guy and we are doing this campaign targeted at the fellow with lots of money. I'm telling you, I stay near Watersedge in Batramulla. One day I was walking and I saw the seaplane. And when it landed, I went there and took a selfie with the seaplane pilot. When I put it on Facebook, every Indian wanted to experience it, because in India you still don't have seaplanes.
One photo can make 1,000 change. Right?
Exactly. And I'm saying, to myself that, listen, I mean, this is something so common in Sri Lanka. You get seaplanes, it goes from Colombo to Kandy to Nuwara. Easy, the lifestyle that we can offer them and the experiences we can offer Indians is quite a lot. And I think, yacht around the island, things like this, which are, and skydiving, many, many good experiences can be had here in Sri Lanka, which we can promote to Indians. So that's one big opportunity.
So the first thing is tourism.
I would think first thing is tourism. Second thing is, I also feel Sri Lankan products are all high quality products.
Such as?
I mean, everything. I mean, whether it is tea, whether it is garments. Our products that come out of Sri Lanka and go around the world is great. I know many Indians tell me, I wish we could buy some of the high quality Sri Lankan tea in India. But unfortunately, because of the way the FTA is structured right now, there is a quota on number of items of elements of tea or kilograms of tea that can go into India. Hopefully, there is a conversation around ITCA for that to change. And I think those are the kind of things. Even garments. I mean, India has India has $100 billion garment industry, which is growing. And they're always looking for good quality. If your 3 billion, which one is worried about whether it's going to be there or not with the American tariffs coming in, if that 3 billion can go into India, that's a humongous opportunity for Sri Lanka.
Now you are here for 2 decades, right? Now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you think? How do you assess that? How Sri Lanka is conducive for these FDI? Is it attractable, or is there any hindrance you see?
So I think my assessment is that there's a lot more work that needs to be done to make
still we can.
Yes, to make Sri Lanka a good place to invest in. See, at the end of the day, many of the investments that come in, after 4-5 years, I find many of them saying that I don't know whether we got the kind of returns we needed to get. So, I mean, it all depends on what the vision is. I mean, if you take a kind of industry like the energy industry, which actually I think in the future is going to be a boom industry for Sri Lanka, because it's got many sources of renewable energy. And if big companies can come in and invest in that space, I think that can be very meaningful and very a win-win for everybody. But in the context of what current companies feel, my sense is that not all companies are happy.
Happy.
Yeah, that is my sense, boss, based on my conversations with some of the companies I know.
What is the reason they are saying?
See, I think there's a lot of companies, some of the companies feel that, sometimes the rules change arbitrarily. They come in with an investment with a belief that this is the category they want to be in, and this is the category they want to win in. And then suddenly they discover 6 months later, somebody else who's a local player has managed to have a conversation and change some rules for their benefit. So it does happen like that. And I think it is a fairly well-known fact that people have felt that, and many businesses have felt that some degree of arbitrariness happens in this process once in a while. So that has been an area of some concern.
Tell me briefly what Sri Lanka can do. What should Sri Lanka should do to attack more FDI?
I think from what I understand with this IMF conversations, there are a lot of governance-related conversations happening, which will I think it will make it easier even for businessmen to navigate the landscape, the legal landscape in the country. And not only the legal landscape, the overall economic framework, and the belief that there will not be arbitrariness, and that there will be a certain predictability to the way the country functions, and that rules may not be changed overnight to benefit X, Y, or Z. So I think there is that conversation happening. From my understanding, IMF rules and IMF governance processes are on the table being discussed.
That's good.
I think so, yes. I think anything that I also know the Japanese recently came out and said, that if there is a process set up which is corruption free, then we will definitely want to invest. So that's an indication.
So for the great FDI, foreign direct investment environment, what should be there? For a snapshot, what can you say?
Easy entry, clarity on all of the documentation and things that are needed to set up.
Like a single window system?
Yes, I think, I remember there was a single window system. If I'm not mistaken, Sri Lanka was one of the first ones to do a single.
We plan it.
Even in this, if you really look at India and Sri Lanka's history, Robertson, I remember when we were children in India, everyone used to talk of Sri Lanka as a place to go to in the 80s to see foreign cars and foreign products. And, I know a cousin of mine who once told me that he had got the electrical mosquito repellent.
We were very advanced that time.
Yeah. So from Sri Lanka, and then India still was on the mat and coils, and then Sri Lanka had all of this. And that was primarily due to the open economy. And then now I think the whole situation has changed because India has opened its economy out and India is realizing its economic potential.
Okay. So my last part of the interview, only 2 questions are there. What do you think about the infrastructure in Sri Lanka?
I think a lot of the infrastructure is good. If you look at our digital system here, the digital network is very good. I personally, I also think even some of the roads and the access to cities and towns and all are very, very good.
Clean?
Yeah, absolutely. India is still nowhere where Sri Lanka is in that respect for sure, in my view at least. I think Sri Lanka has some fantastic roads, and with expressway coming up, that should also make a significant difference. I would hope it happens soon because then it gives access to the hills as the way it is given access to the rest of the country. So I think, I always tell my friends here in Sri Lanka has many beautiful things. It's a beautiful country. It's blessed by God. Such clean air, beautiful beaches, wonderful vistas, clean roads, very good quality roads.
Proud heritage.
Terrific heritage. Something that we can all feel very good about. The only thing Sri Lanka currently does not have is economic security. And what is there in India today? Personally, I feel India may not have some of the other things, but India has the economic dividend. This is where the complementarity comes. This is the time to exploit India. Because India has it, we need it. Embrace India. Make sure that we understand that India is an opportunity. Recently an organization from Japan reached out to me. They said they are investing money and time in promoting India-Sri Lanka relations, economic relations. So I asked them, why would a Japanese association invest time and money in an India-Sri Lanka economic relationship, because they said, we see India already has overtaken us. They are going to overtake Germany. We need to have access to the Indian southern market.
Through Sri Lanka. So we have that corridor also, no?
Well, if you ask me, I'll tell you something very controversial, but my view, that bridge should happen. And I'll tell you why. So I was doing an analysis recently on how many years it will take for a bridge to be built between India and Sri Lanka.
How many years?
12 years.
Within 12 years we can make it?
Yes, according to AI. Okay. Assume 12 years. Assume you start in 2026. You're talking of a bridge in 2038. By 2038, India will be one of the largest economies in the world. Every country will want access to India. And Sri Lanka will have a road to India.
Only Sri Lanka.
Which means that in reality, everyone will want to be here in Sri Lanka to access the Indian market.
But
now, if you have a vision for economics, and if you understand that Indian opportunity like this, then you will be starting to talk about building the road from a 2038 context today. Today. You should talk now. You should do ITCA, you should do road. Then I personally feel that we won't be in a situation where young people of Sri Lanka are thinking of their futures in other countries. That's not what you want. Because they will see future for their children and for their families in Sri Lanka, because they will see the economic opportunities, they will see the economic dividend, they will see high quality education, high quality life, and an access to a market, growing market for their products and services, and therefore won't think of migrating to foreign countries thinking that, I have nothing here for me in Sri Lanka.
So according to your analysis, Sri Lanka is not using its potential fully?
100% not.
How did you feel the 2022 crisis? You were here? Did you in the queue for the fuel?
Yes. No, I think the crisis was a very scary part of my time here. In the sense that...
You'd have thought to leave the country?
No, I never thought of leaving the country. I never thought. See, for me now, Robertson, when I land in Kotanaike, I feel at home. You can't leave your home and go because of a crisis, I never thought of leaving Sri Lanka and going. Now, let me tell you the flip part. See, even in that crisis, Sri Lanka's quality and culture came out so beautifully. I'll tell you why. We had many Indian people here media people here to follow the crisis. After they finished part of their assignment, one bunch was going back, so we took them for lunch. So I asked one of them, what did you feel? What's your feel about what's happening? He said, what? Protest, man? I said, why? Such decent people, they stand with placards, they stand on the side of the road, they let traffic go through, they don't throw stones on the car, they don't destroy the cars. And then after that, they clean the road and take the placards with them. So they were stunned. And that is Sri Lanka. Even in a crisis, Sri Lanka is different. So that is my take on Sri Lanka and why I'm here, I suppose.
Thank you very much, Santosh Menon, sir, the president of Lanka India Business Association. So thank you for coming here. You think you discuss about many things and very deeply. As I said earlier, I can take many points from your interview. Let's see what's going to happen.
Thank you, Robertson. Thank you for this opportunity.